Welcome back to Job Africa, folks. This is Chris. Well. Will miracles ever cease? One has to wonder. Let's see, what can you get away with? Well, if you're Julius Malema, the inconvenient youth, you can get away with pretty much anything in South Africa. I say pretty much anything because perhaps he's finally put his oversized foot into his gargantuan mouth for once. But let's run down the list of hits here. Julius Malema runs around the country for well over a decade now singing a disgraceful, disgusting, vile, racist song called Kill the Boer and getting away with it endlessly with nothing happening to him, even though it's been declared hate speech and that it is forbidden to sing this song in public. Does it anyway. More recently, what has he been doing? With his party accomplishing absolutely nothing throughout the midst of lockdown, doing nothing to challenge the national government under the ANC and its unlawful, unconstitutional lockdown measures, which others have been forced to challenge, despite being the third largest opposition, or the second largest opposition party, the third largest political party in South Africa. The economic freedom fighters did absolutely nothing during the lockdown until they saw an opportunity to agitate and start a race war. Well, let's talk about this. What have they gotten away with? Well, other than singing that irritating and disgustingly vile song, Julius Malema has called on his fighters, he's extolled his fighters to go out and attack Clicks, a pharmacy or chemist business in South Africa, which is a black majority-owned company. That's correct, folks, black majority-owned company. And he called his fighters out to attack Clicks locations not all that long ago. Why? Because an insensitive black employee of Clicks mistakenly posted a European ad which said less than complimentary things about black African hair. And so they demanded that Clicks shut their stores down for a week, called them racists, even though the action was taken by a black person, so I guess he's self-loathing if he's a racist. And Clicks removed it within a short period of time, apologized profusely for it. That wasn't good enough. Seizing an opportunity to take advantage of it and start racial hatred, stoke racial hatred in South Africa, Julius Malema called on his fighters to go out and attack Clicks stores. What did they do? They attacked 44 Clicks locations in acts of domestic terrorism all over the country, destroying stores, preventing people who needed their medication from getting into pharmacies, looting, burning, and even throwing Molotov cocktail at one store. Absolutely outrageous criminal conduct. Nothing happened to him. On the 16th of October, Julius Malema, the leader of an opposition party, showed up in Senekal in the Northern Free State at a second bail hearing or arraignment hearing for two suspects in the brutal torture and race-inspired domestic terrorist murder of young Brendan Horner in the Free State. What was he doing there? He was not a person with any standing before the court, yet there he was on the 16th of October, cheering his fighters on, spending 20 minutes spewing racial hatred, all caught on videotape. Afterwards, his number three in the party screamed and sang a song in Zulu and then switched to English to make sure we all understood that the fighters should go out and burn the Boer, burn them down, burn them out. Well, we got the message, as did his thuggish domestic terrorist followers when they went out less than 48 hours later and burned over 247,000 acres of farmland, farmhouses and properties, farm workers' residences across South Africa, killing thousands of head of livestock, sheep, cattle, and wildlife. Unbelievable. Also in the Northern Cape. That wasn't enough. That didn't get the police's attention. No, not enough. Unbelievable. So what does he do now? He says that he's going to come out and fight racism, non-existent racism, at a high school in the Western Cape at Brackenfell. They come out, they throw rocks at people, start violence, paint themselves as the victims, then come back in another unlawful, illegal assembly. Then they're given a court order by the judge to allow them to come back with 100 persons protesting what's going on. Those 100 persons is it. So they show up with 3,000 to 5,000 people armed with pungas, those are machetes, and with knob carries, those are wooden clubs that are deadly with a knob at the top of them, and also with golf clubs. What was this for? Were they going to play golf on the paved roads outside the Brackenfell High School? No. This was an intimidation rally meant to cause a fracas, chaos, and violence to suit their needs to start a race war in South Africa because this is what the EFF is looking for. None of that garnered any attention from the African National Congress, despite the fact that this person violates South African law on a near daily basis with his racial, bitter, vile, domestic hatred. Nothing. No action against Julius Malema. But now, ladies and gentlemen, the bow has broken. Remember the images of the South African police minister, Bheki Cele, sitting in the Senegal courthouse next to his partner in shame, Julius Malema, like best of buds, in a very revealing photograph that shows you the collusion that takes place between the EFF and the South African Police Service leadership. But what happened? Well, on Monday, Juju stuck his foot in his mouth. On Monday, Police Minister Bheki Cele spoke out against comments made by the Economic Freedom Fighters leader Julius Malema against the police, saying that his comments were reckless, irresponsible, and dangerous. You think? Wow, it's good to see that you finally woke up and got in the game there, Bheki Cele. I guess it only matters when you feel personally threatened, when innocent white, colored, black, and Indian South Africans are brutally tortured and murdered in farm murders. You look the other way. You say it's not a priority crime. When Julius Malema calls for the murder of innocent white commercial farmers for the crime of being white, not an issue for you. When Julius Malema sings about murdering white South Africans, not an issue for you. When Julius Malema and his thugs in the EFF call for the arson of South African commercial farms, not an issue for you. When hundreds of semi-trucks are attacked across the country, drivers beaten, vehicles burned, shipment of goods disrupted, the supply chain disrupted in South Africa, not a priority crime, not something for attention to you. When 50, 60 South Africans, 50 plus black South Africans are murdered each and every day, not a priority for you. But when Julius Malema, the inconvenient youth, speaks out against the police, wow, now suddenly it's game on. It's game on, says Bheki Cele. Bring it on. Dafatai, dafatai. Kenako, kenako. Give me a frickin' break, you feckless buffoon. This is what Julius Malema said in the Free State on Sunday. We will treat them the same way we treated them in the 1980s. We will only fight at their not only fight their picket lines, we will also go to their homes and fight them in their houses with their own families. We are not scared of the police. Will he be arrested now? Will you arrest him now for threatening deadly violence against serving police officers? That cannot possibly be free speech. There's no way that can be free speech. That is a threat. And why the police? And what exactly did Julius Malema do in the 1980s? Nothing. He was still taking dumps in his nappies. Please, what we did in the 1980s. There's no we, you feckless little clown. Well, not only has it drawn Bheki Cele's attention, but it's also drawn the attention of Popcru. What's Popcru? Well, Popcru is the police union. First off, I got a serious problem with police being unionized. It's like military. You have no business being unionized. Air traffic controls, you have no business being unionized. You serve a public function, and you have no right to be in a union. But whatever. They have a union. So they have this union. But I have to tell you, it's really rich, these comments coming from the police minister, a guy who sat in the Senegal courthouse with Julius Malema a short time ago with the race merchant himself back on the 16th of October in that courtroom. Well, Malema's statement was aimed at the police because of what happened last Friday, which many South African captured fake stream media are calling an EFF protest. No, it wasn't. Brackenfell was an intimidation rally with armed mugs and thugs from the EFF there to harm people. Of course, they only attack people who are defenseless or one-on-one or buildings that can't fight back. They don't attack people who are armed and ready to fight them back because the cowards that they are prevents them from actually standing up and being real men and women. Yeah, well, this is from the, this is from the Popcru, that's the police union. Popcru, head of the union, this is from Richard Mamabolo. And he said that Malema was also irresponsible and there could be dire consequences. For whom? For Juju? Well, it's about damn time. You're about 10, 15 years too late. Mamabolo says, we feel that it has the potential to raise the level of attacks that are currently happening within and amongst police officers, and even worse, that he said they must go after their families. We think this is a call for lawlessness and a threat to our democracy. You think? And what exactly is it when blind South African farmers are tortured and murdered? What is it when 11 and 15-year-old girls are gang raped Their father's genitals cut off and stuffed in his mouth. Their mother gang raped and her breast cut off. What is that? That's not a threat to public order. That's not a threat to safety. Do you not give a flying flip about the families of commercial farmers? No, you don't. You don't, Mr. Mamabolo or Bheki Cele. You can give a flying flip less about the safety of South Africans. You only care when you and your own are threatened. And for that, you're disgraceful. You're disgraceful. And you're also about 26 years late to the game. Certainly 15 years late to what's going on here. This is a disgrace. Just more of a captured South African government. The union insists that SAPS members are unbiased when carrying out their duties. Well, I don't disagree with that. They're equally inept at investigating farm murders as they are at cash and transit heist. Yeah, so there you go. Unbiased. Absolutely. As I did say when Brackenfell occurred on Friday and I live covered that event, I said that the police from SAPS were doing a credible job in repulsing the armed attack of the EFF as they marched on Brackenfell. They had a good tactical plan and they repulsed them. But I'm not going to give them when they are late to the game and suddenly they care. Suddenly they care when their own families are threatened. That's when Bheki Cele and Mr. Mamabolo suddenly care about the machinations and the vile rhetoric and bile coming out of the mouth of Julius Malema, the leader of the economic freedom fighters, ostensibly a political party, but one that behaves as if it's a domestic people to violence, seeking a race war, lying about South Africa's history, and demonizing people for no reason whatsoever, including police officers. Well, there you go, folks. Now you know what it finally takes for the police to take notice of Julius Malema's criminal activity when they themselves are threatened. Welcome to Cloud Cuckoo Land South. Yep, you thought Zimbabwe was bad. Well, look at South. National Congress has turned into a gangster's paradise. And who is the top gangster but Bheki Cele? But the good news, I suppose, is that Bheki Cele himself has finally noticed that Julius Malema is a serial lawbreaker. What will happen? Charges? Don't hold your breath. Julius Malema is currently undergoing a court case in which he physically assaulted a South African police service senior officer, repeatedly caught on video, a white officer, because he's a vile racist. That's why he did it. What else would he be? And then deny that he attacked the officer. He said he didn't attack him. Unfortunately for Julius Malema, it was caught on video. So will something come of that trial? Don't hold your breath. Will something come of this? Don't hold your breath. But if Julius Malema suddenly has an unexplained traffic accident, anyway, folks, if you're not a subscriber to Chris Wyatt Africa, take a moment and become a subscriber by smashing that subscription button right down there. Be sure to toggle the bell icon to be notified of updates. And if you really want to get updates, your best bet is to download the YouTube app on your mobile or your mobile device because they don't on their PC or through the email anymore. They've changed their methodology. And the primary means for notifying you of videos is through the WhatsApp. Excuse me. It's late at night here. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. You get the best updates if you have the application on your device or your phone, your mobile, so that you go through the YouTube and you'll get a 30-minute warning that there's a video upcoming, whether it's a live stream or a debut for a video. So there you go, folks. And finally, if you'd like to leave comments, well, not finally, but if you'd like to leave comments, feel free to leave comments. Abusive comments will be deleted and get you in trouble. And finally, smash the like button. Likes drive viewership, and the world needs to know about the shameful, disgraceful, criminal conduct of one Julius Malema, the head of the economic freedom fighters, a man who I don't honestly think is really a racist. I think he's just a political opportunist, and he's having a field day with it. And he keeps opening up his mouth because the government of South Africa has allowed him to get away with encouraging the murder of whites, with the arson of farms, and with the destruction of private enterprises. They don't care. But now that their own have been threatened, they finally take notice of his serial criminal activity. Well, it's long overdue, ladies and gentlemen, and let's hope that something comes out of this that finds Mr. Malema sitting in a cell somewhere where he belongs. Thank you, folks. Take care. God bless, and have a good day.